Here's a truth most men never realize. The way a young woman greets you tells you everything you need to know about her attraction. Before she ever says the words, before she admits it to herself, her body, her tone, her eyes have already betrayed her. Attraction isn't spoken. It leaks out. And the greeting? That's where the mask slips. Maybe you felt it before. You walk into a room and a young woman lights up when she sees you. Her voice changes, her posture straightens, her smile widens just for you. You thought it was coincidence. It wasn't. That greeting was her instinct showing its hand. And if you know how to read those signals, you'll never be confused again about whether she secretly likes you. But here's the catch. Most men miss it. They're too focused on what to say back, or too insecure to notice the subtle shifts happening in front of them. They see the surface. They miss the truth. And because of that, they either misread the situation completely or chase validation they never needed to. In this video, I'm going to break it all down for you. How young women greet older men they secretly like, the psychology behind it, the evolutionary triggers, and how Stoic wisdom can give you the clarity to see it all without being shaken. By the end, you'll never look at a hello the same way again. Most men treat greetings like background noise. They think a hi is just a hi, a smile is just politeness, a handshake is just habit. But a Stoic man knows better. He knows that human beings betray themselves in the smallest gestures. And when it comes to attraction, the truth is rarely in her words. It's in her delivery. Here's the brutal reality. Women are masters of disguise. They've been trained since they were young to hide their feelings, to smile when they don't mean it, to act polite even when they're bored. But what they can't hide is instinct. And instinct always leaks through in the way she greets you. The eyes, the tone, the body language. The nervous little tells she doesn't even notice. That's where the real story lives. Why does this matter so much? Because greetings set the frame. The first 10 seconds of interaction tell you everything about where you stand. If she greets you with warmth, with softness, with a spark of energy she doesn't give other men, you've already won half the battle. But if she greets you cold, flat, mechanical, you're not even in the game. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Observe always that everything is the result of change. Attraction is no different. It's not static, it shifts, it grows, it reveals itself in moments of change. And a greeting is exactly that, a shift, from distance to closeness, from stranger to interaction. If you're watching closely, you'll see her truth in that moment. So in this video, we're going to break down the exact cues that young women give away when they secretly like an older man. These aren't surface-level dating tricks. These are psychological tells, backed by both biology and experience. We'll dive into the eyes, the voice, the smile, the touch, the goodbye. We'll cover it all, and more importantly, we'll anchor it all in Stoic philosophy, because it's not enough to notice these signs. You must notice them without becoming enslaved by them. The weak man chases validation. The strong man observes calmly and continues his path regardless. That's the frame we're building. So let's get into it. The first sign she gives away is in her eyes. Number 1. The spark in her eyes. They say the eyes are the window to the soul. But here's the truth. They're the window to attraction. A woman can fake a smile. She can force a laugh. She can disguise her words. But her eyes? They betray her every time. When a young woman secretly likes you, the first place you'll see it is in the way she looks at you. Her pupils dilate. Her gaze lingers just a second longer than it should. Her eyes light up in a way they don't with anyone else. It's subtle, but once you learn to see it, you'll never miss it again. Here's the psychology. Attraction activates the limbic system, the part of her brain that reacts before logic catches up. When she sees a man she secretly desires, her body responds instantly. She might not even realize it, but her eyes widen, her pupils expand, and she holds your gaze longer than she means to. That's biology exposing the truth. Picture this. Tom, 48, walks into a meeting. A young coworker greets him. She smiles, but more than that. Her eyes linger on his face, tracing him for just a beat too long before she looks away. Tom doesn't panic. He doesn't smirk. He doesn't need to. He notices. He registers. And he carries on, grounded. That's the difference between the strong man and the insecure man. The insecure one either misses it completely or blows it up into a fantasy. The grounded man sees it, files it away, and keeps moving. Now imagine the average guy. Same situation. She holds his gaze and he instantly blurts out some awkward joke or rushes to fill the silence. He exposes himself as weak, as desperate for confirmation. And just like that, the attraction dies. Weakness always suffocates desire. This is where Stoicism enters. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Replace listen with observe, and you have the key. Your job is not to react to every signal. Your job is to notice without flinching, to observe without being controlled, to see the spark in her eyes, but not let it dictate your behavior. Here's the shift. Stop staring at her lips, her body, her smile. Start watching the eyes, because the eyes can't lie. And when you catch that spark, that flicker of hidden attraction, let it empower your calm, not your ego. Because the man who can see without reacting is the man she'll never forget. Number 2, the shift in her voice. A woman's voice is like a mirror of her emotions. And here's the truth. When a young woman secretly likes you, she doesn't greet you with the same voice she uses for everyone else. It changes. Softer, higher, lighter, almost melodic. That shift is subconscious. She doesn't control it, but it betrays her every time. Here's the psychology. When a woman feels attraction, her body naturally adjusts her vocal tone. Studies in evolutionary psychology show that women's voices tend to rise slightly in pitch when speaking to men they're attracted to. It's biology at work. The voice softens, signaling femininity, signaling openness, signaling interest. She might not realize it, but her tone betrays the feelings her words are hiding. Picture this. David, 52, runs into a young woman he sees regularly at his favorite cafe. When she greets her friends, her tone is casual, almost flat. But when she spots him, her voice lifts. She says, "Hi," with a warmth and brightness she doesn't give anyone else. David doesn't rush to interpret it as love. He doesn't get carried away. He notices calmly. He registers the difference. And then he carries himself as if nothing happened, grounded, steady, unmoved. That's presence. Now imagine the weak man. He hears that same shift in tone and immediately overreacts. He thinks, "She must be in love with me." He starts chasing, pressing, trying to lock it in. And in doing so, he smothers the very spark that made her voice shift in the first place. Because desire dies the moment it feels trapped. Seneca once said, "Speech is the index of the mind," and he was right. Her voice tells the story her words won't. A flat hello with no warmth is a sign of indifference. A greeting wrapped in softness, rising energy, or nervous laughter. That's her psychology leaking through. Here's the shift. Don't just listen to what she says. Listen to how she says it. If her tone rises, if her words soften, if her laughter comes a little too quickly, that's attraction speaking. And your role is not to react like a boy chasing candy. Your role is to hear it, absorb it, and stay grounded. Because the man who doesn't flinch is the man who keeps her hooked. Number 3, the playful delay. Most men think attraction is always loud, obvious, explosive. But here's the paradox. Sometimes the strongest signal is hesitation. When a young woman secretly likes you, she often won't greet you immediately. She'll pause. She'll linger for just a second. She'll create a moment of suspense, not because she planned it, but because her emotions slowed her down. That delay is not hesitation born of indifference. It's the nervous pause of someone who cares how she's coming across. Here's the psychology. Attraction creates tension. When a woman greets a man she doesn't care about, her greeting is quick, casual, automatic. But when she secretly desires you, she becomes self-conscious. Her brain races. What do I say? How do I look? Will he notice me? That inner tension causes her to delay, to wait, to adjust, to give herself a beat before engaging. That's not disinterest. That's investment. Picture this. Mark, 50, walks into a social event. Across the room, a young woman notices him. She sees him, but instead of instantly blurting out, "Hi," she smooths her hair, adjusts her dress, and only then makes her way over. When she finally greets him, her words are simple. But the delay was the real message. It wasn't that she didn't want to see him. It's that she wanted to prepare herself to greet him in the best way possible. Mark, grounded in his frame, recognizes this. He doesn't call it out, doesn't joke about it. He simply notices and continues to carry himself with calm authority. Now imagine the insecure man. He sees the same delay and thinks, "She must not like me." She hesitated. And instantly he projects weakness. He becomes needy, defensive, trying to compensate for an imagined rejection. What he failed to understand is that her hesitation was attraction in disguise. His insecurity killed the signal she was sending. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." The same applies here. Don't rush to interpret every pause as rejection. The Stoic man waits. He observes. He sees the truth beneath the hesitation. Because attraction often hides behind the smallest details. Here's the shift. Don't just watch what she does. Watch the timing. A playful delay in greeting. A moment of hesitation before she speaks. A pause that feels heavier than it should. Those are her nerves betraying her. And a woman doesn't get nervous around men she doesn't care about. Number 4. The body angles in. Here's the brutal truth. Words can lie, but the body always tells the truth. When a young woman greets you, her mouth may say one thing, but her posture will tell you the story she doesn't want you to know. If she secretly likes you, her body will betray her. She'll angle in, orient toward you, open her space to yours. It's instinct, it's primal, and it's impossible to fake for long. Here's the psychology. Human beings subconsciously orient themselves toward what they value and away from what they fear or dismiss. This is evolutionary biology at play. When a young woman greets an older man she desires, her feet will point toward him, her shoulders will square up, her torso will subtly lean in. She's signaling openness, receptivity, interest. These cues are ancient, older than language itself. Picture this. Robert, 55, attend un networking event. A young woman comes over to say hello. While she's speaking, her feet remain firmly pointed at him. Her shoulders tilt toward his direction, and she unconsciously leans closer even though she could have stayed back. She laughs, adjusts her hair, but the biggest giveaway isn't her smile. It's the way her entire body is magnetized toward him. Robert, grounded and composed, doesn't puff his chest or get smug. He notices. He registers. And he stays calm. Now picture the weak man. Same cues. She turns her body toward him and he instantly leans in too far, desperate to close the gap. He starts over-talking, trying to force intimacy that she was already offering freely. Instead of letting her attraction breathe, he smothers it with neediness. And just like that, the signal dies. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Her body is dyed with her desire. She may not say it. She may not even consciously admit it. But her orientation, her angles, her posture, they expose the truth of her thoughts. The Stoic man sees this, but he doesn't cling to it. He lets it inform him, but never control him. Here's the shift. Stop obsessing over her words. Words are social. Words are polite. But posture is primal. If her body opens toward you, if her feet, hips, and shoulders line up with yours, if she orients herself fully while greeting you, that's not chance. That's attraction. And the man who sees it without reacting is the man she keeps thinking about long after the moment ends. Number 5. The nervous energy. Here's something most men never notice. When a young woman secretly likes you, she doesn't always act smooth or composed. In fact, the opposite happens. Her body betrays her nerves. She fidgets. She adjusts her hair. She laughs too quickly. She stumbles on her words when she greets you. That nervous energy isn't clumsiness. It's proof of investment. It's the weight of attraction pressing against her mask. Here's the psychology. When a woman feels nothing toward a man, she's relaxed. She can greet him casually, effortlessly, with no emotional stakes. But when she secretly desires a man, especially an older one she respects, her nervous system spikes. Heart rate increases, palms sweat, micro-movements appear. That's biology colliding with psychology. Her body is reacting before her brain has the chance to smooth it over. James, 49, walks into his office. A young assistant greets him. As she says hello, she drops her pen, giggles nervously, and tucks her hair behind her ear. On the surface, it looks like clumsiness, but James knows better. He doesn't tease her for it. He doesn't rush to rescue her. He simply acknowledges her greeting with calm authority, steady eye contact, and continues with his day. And what happens? Her nerves intensify because his calmness magnifies her excitement. Now imagine the insecure man. Same scene, but he sees her fumble and instantly tries to capitalize on it. He teases too hard, points out her mistake, or worse, he mirrors her nervousness with his own. Instead of reinforcing her attraction with grounded energy, he destroys the dynamic by proving he can't handle her vulnerability. Weak men kill attraction by reacting instead of observing. This is where Stoic wisdom shines. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Her nerves aren't a sign for you to get nervous. They're an invitation for you to remain steady, to be the grounding force in the storm of her emotions. Because nothing builds attraction faster than a man who stays calm while she loses her composure. Here's the shift. Don't mock her nerves. Don't inflate your ego because of them, and don't mirror them. Let them happen. Let her fumble. Let her laugh too hard. Let her words tangle, because those are the cracks where her true feelings leak out. And when she realizes you noticed, but didn't exploit it, her respect for you grows tenfold. Number 6. The lingering touch. A simple touch can tell you more than 1,000 words. And here's the truth. When a young woman greets you with a touch that lasts just a beat too long, it's never an accident. That's attraction spilling out. She may laugh it off, she may disguise it as friendly, but her body knows what her mouth won't admit. Here's the psychology. Touch is one of the oldest forms of human communication. It bypasses logic and speaks directly to the nervous system. A casual handshake usually lasts 2 seconds. A polite shoulder tap is instant. But when a woman secretly desires you, the contact lingers. Her hand stays on your arm a little longer. Her palm brushes your back as she says hello. She creates a reason to touch you again, even when none is needed. That's not coincidence. That's subconscious desire trying to close the distance. Picture this. Daniel, 51, arrives at a gathering. A young woman greets him with a handshake, but instead of letting go, her fingers rest for just a moment longer than necessary. Later, she touches his sleeve while laughing, her hand sliding slightly before she pulls it back. To the average man, it might look small, but Daniel notices the pattern. He doesn't overreact, doesn't lean in, doesn't chase. He accepts the touch, stays composed, and lets her attraction grow in the silence of his calm. Now imagine the insecure man. He feels the same touch and instantly jumps at it, grabbing her hand back, leaning too close, making it obvious he's desperate for more. What happens? The mystery collapses. She realizes he can't handle her signal without losing composure, and attraction dies because nothing kills desire faster than neediness exposed. This is where Stoicism speaks with iron. Seneca wrote, "Restraint is the proof of strength." A man who can receive her lingering touch without clinging, without reacting, without rushing to take more, demonstrates the kind of control most men lack, and that control is intoxicating. Because if you can master yourself in the smallest moments, she'll believe you can master yourself in the greatest. Here's the shift. Don't overlook the little touches, and don't overplay them either. Notice them. Absorb them. Let them confirm what her words will never admit. Because when she touches you in greeting, and lingers just enough to make it obvious, she's not just being polite. She's telling you without saying it, "I want to feel you closer." Number 7. The glow in her smile. Most men think every smile is attraction. Wrong. Women smile all the time, out of politeness, out of habit, out of social conditioning. But when a young woman secretly likes you, her smile changes. It's not just lip stretching. It's her whole face lighting up, her eyes softening, her cheeks rising. That glow is different, and once you've seen it, you'll never mistake it again. Here's the psychology. A forced smile is mechanical, driven by social obligation. But a genuine smile, what psychologists call a Duchenne smile, activates the muscles around the eyes, not just the mouth. When she greets you with that kind of smile, it's not courtesy. It's instinct. Her body is celebrating your presence before her brain can hide it. That's attraction in its purest form. Picture this. Michael, 54, walks into a restaurant where a young hostess works. She greets dozens of customers with the same rehearsed smile. But when she sees Michael, her whole expression shifts. Her smile widens, her eyes brighten, her body leans forward. That's not customer service. That's personal. Michael doesn't overanalyze it. He doesn't inflate his ego. He simply notices the difference and carries himself with calm authority, knowing the truth without needing to react. Now imagine the insecure man. He sees that same smile and instantly thinks it's his green light to push forward, to escalate, to corner her. He mistakes warmth for invitation, and in doing so, he turns what could have grown naturally into something forced and awkward. Desire suffocates under pressure. This is where Stoic wisdom anchors you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Her smile is the reflection of her thoughts about you. If those thoughts are warm, genuine, filled with desire, her smile will glow. But your role isn't to get drunk on that validation. Your role is to recognize it for what it is, a signal, not a guarantee. Here's the shift. Don't confuse every smile for attraction. But when she greets you with a glow that transforms her face, when her smile is brighter for you than for anyone else, you're seeing her truth slip through. And the man who can absorb that without needing to force the moment becomes unforgettable. Number 8. The quick goodbye that isn't really goodbye. Most men only pay attention to how a woman says hello, but if you're wise, you'll realize something deeper. How she leaves is often louder than how she arrives. When a young woman secretly likes you, her goodbye isn't clean, simple, or detached. She lingers. She looks back. She finds an excuse to say one more thing. That quick goodbye stretches into a drawn-out dance, and that's no accident. Here's the psychology. When attraction is at play, separation feels heavy. Her brain doesn't want to cut the connection, so she creates micro-excuses to keep it alive. Maybe she remembers something important right as she turns away. Maybe she waves twice instead of once. Maybe she slows her pace just enough to give you one last chance to notice. These are her instincts trying to extend the interaction without admitting it outright. Picture this. Anthony, 53, chats with a young woman at a coffee shop. She finishes her drink, stands to leave, and says goodbye. But instead of walking straight out, she pauses at the door, looks back with a smile, and adds, "See you around." That wasn't necessity. That was attraction looking for a reason to echo her presence one more time. Anthony doesn't chase after her. He doesn't joke about her stalling. He simply notices, calm, grounded, unmoved. And that composure only makes her curiosity about him grow. Now imagine the weak man. Same scenario. She looks back once, and he instantly leaps up, rushing to chase her out the door, trying to force a continuation of the moment. In that instant, he transforms her lingering goodbye from a natural expression of attraction into a burden. And attraction, once forced, evaporates. Epictetus once said, "He who laughs at himself never runs out of things to laugh at." The lesson here? Don't take her lingering goodbye as proof you've won. Don't inflate your ego. Instead, recognize it as her nervous little attempt to stretch the string between you. Then let it go. Because when you can let her leave without grasping, she feels your strength. She feels your restraint. And that contrast will stay on her mind far longer than any clingy pursuit. Here's the shift. Pay attention to her exits. If she greets you warmly but leaves cold, her interest was shallow. But if she struggles to say goodbye, if she looks back, if she can't quite disconnect, you've already made an impression. And the man who notices without chasing becomes the man she replays in her head long after the moment has passed. Number 9. The subtle competition. A young woman who secretly likes you doesn't just greet you differently. She greets you differently than she greets other men. That's the hidden key. Attraction always expresses itself through contrast. Watch closely, and you'll see it. Her voice is warmer for you, her eye contact stronger, her smile brighter, her posture more alive. She's not just saying hello, she's competing. Quietly, subtly, instinctively, she's trying to stand out. Here's the psychology. Women are hardwired to seek high-value men, and when they find one, competition kicks in. She may not challenge other women directly, but she'll unconsciously signal, "I greet him differently. He matters more." It's an ancient instinct, the same drive that made women in tribes fight for the attention of strong hunters and leaders. The greeting is her way of distinguishing herself, of marking territory without words. Picture this. Charles, 56, enters a room with several colleagues. The young women in the group greet him casually, a quick nod, a polite hello. But one, the one secretly drawn to him, lights up in his presence. Her tone softens, her eyes linger, her energy shifts. The difference is undeniable. Charles doesn't grin smugly. He doesn't flaunt it. He simply notices the contrast, and that's enough. Because it's not about any single action. It's about the way she treats him differently. Now imagine the weak man. He notices the contrast too, but instead of letting it strengthen his frame, he exploits it. He starts fishing for proof, comparing her greetings aloud, bragging or teasing. What happens? The magic collapses. She feels exposed, and attraction, once made conscious and pressured, withers away. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane." Translation: don't get drunk on the crowd. Don't chase being the one she treats best. Instead, notice quietly. Let her competition live in her behavior, not in your ego. That's the discipline that separates men of value from boys begging for validation. Here's the shift. Don't just analyze her greeting in isolation. Compare it to how she greets everyone else. If her energy spikes when she sees you, if she greets you in a way that makes other men invisible, that's attraction. And the man who notices without reacting, he's the one who stays unforgettable. Number 10. The silent pull. Not every greeting comes with words. Sometimes the strongest signal is silence. When a young woman secretly likes you, she may not even speak right away. Instead, her body leans toward you. Her eyes search for yours. Her energy shifts in your direction. That gravitational pull, the unspoken hello, is often louder than any word she could have said. Here's the psychology. Words live in the conscious mind, but attraction begins in the unconscious. When she feels drawn to you, her behavior changes before her logic can catch up. She positions herself closer. She finds reasons to be in your line of sight. She looks for your acknowledgement without daring to demand it. It's primal. It's not strategy. It's instinct. Picture this. Stephen, 58, walks into a dinner party. A young woman across the room doesn't rush over with words. She doesn't even wave at first. But her body shifts toward him, her eyes track him, and when their eyes finally lock, her smile says everything without a sound. That silence was her greeting, and Stephen, grounded in his masculinity, doesn't force it into words. He lets the pull breathe, acknowledges it with calm presence, and allows her attraction to deepen. Now imagine the insecure man. He feels that silent pull but panics. He rushes to fill the gap, blurting something out, overcompensating, trying to cash in on the energy. And in that instant, the magic is gone, because silence, once shattered by weakness, loses its power. Epictetus taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In this context, the lesson is simple. Don't rush to prove you've noticed her attraction. Don't break the silence out of insecurity. Allow yourself to stand in it, unmoved, even if others don't understand. That calm in the face of silence is what makes you magnetic. Here's the shift. Learn to value the unspoken. If her eyes pull you in, if her body angles toward you, if her energy shifts your way without a word, that's her loudest greeting. And the man who can absorb silence without flinching is the man who becomes unforgettable. Now you've seen it. You know the truth. The way a young woman greets you isn't random. It isn't polite habit. It's a mirror, a reflection of the man standing in front of her. And if you've been paying attention, you already know. It's not about chasing signals. It's about becoming the man who doesn't need them. So here's what I want you to do right now. Go down to the comments and write this phrase, I walk in with presence, because that's the essence. That's the standard. Your greeting doesn't start when she sees you. It starts when you walk into the room. Presence first, signals second. That's the way of the Stoic man, and if you're ready to keep sharpening that presence, if you're ready to stop playing the boy's game of chasing smiles and start playing the man's game of commanding respect, then subscribe. Join this brotherhood. Every video here is a weapon. Every lesson here is iron for the blade. And together, we forge men who can walk into any room with the kind of presence that shifts the air. Because remember, it's not about the greeting you get. It's about the man you are when you earn it.